Family, listen to me good. As we Jamaicans would say, you never see a lane without a turning. Accompong, Chief Richard Currie stand firm. He rejects Andrew Holness' offer. Today we witnessing something Jamaica not used to: a leader who cannot be bullied, cannot be bought, and will not bow to Andrew Holness's heavy-handed tactics. Chief Currie just rejected Holness's request to send soldiers carrying rifles into Accompong to rebuild homes after Hurricane Melissa. And trust me, this one is big. Let's talk about it.
Ashe. Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, on behalf of the indigenous people of Accompong and the wider Maroon districts of Cockpit Country, I send sincere appreciation for your recent visit to our community and for the government of Jamaica's expression of support following the destruction caused by Hurricane Melissa. Your presence, accompanied by the several ministers of government, marked the first official visit of your administration to Accompong since my election in 2021, and it was warmly welcomed by our people. We remain grateful for the humanitarian gesture extended to the Accompong people and for your willingness to mobilize resources, particularly those of the JDF military, to assist with the recovery efforts. We also acknowledge your reference on international partners including Ethiopia, Ghana, and Rwanda, who have expressed readiness to assist in the island's rebuilding efforts. Honorable Prime Minister, following a deep, comprehensive internal review and a formal deliberation, the full Maroon Council has this time decided not to accept the offer on the militarization of the space during the recovery effort. The full Maroon Council instead has resolved to continue with the response, utilizing civilian resources from our joining communities and our partners, both locally and internationally, who have offered to the community their assistance in the recovery efforts. Instead, the Council would like to thank you for the offer on materials and would accept the offer on those materials and equipment necessary to assist in those recovery efforts. We want to ensure, Mr. Prime Minister, that harmony and inclusiveness of our Maroon human resources, of those here in Accompong and adjoining communities, are balanced to execute the infrastructural relief efforts across our Maroon communities. This methodology aligns with our laws and cultural way of life. This decision is based also on the following considerations. 1. The established reconstruction partnerships and resources Accompong has secured through international donations, through technical sponsorships, and volunteer engineering assistance sufficient to address the rebuilding and development needs arising from the hurricane. These partnerships, coordinated through the Accompong Development Foundation, reflect years of relationship building, and they provide to us a structured, culturally and aligned framework for reconstruction across the Maroon territory. The second consideration was the protection of community well-being and trauma sensitivities. As you would have recognized, our community was significantly devastated, and many of our elders, some of the women as well as children, have endured profound emotional trauma. In the aftermath, the introduction of military personnel carrying assault rifles, as we would have seen just the other day, even in a humanitarian capacity, could exacerbate and distress and cause additional distress among residents of the community. The Council believes that reconstruction conducted through civilian and community-based teams is the most appropriate path for maintaining emotional security and cultural stability at this time. This, I'm sure, you can understand, Mr. Prime Minister. Our treaty obligations and governance. The third consideration would be the treaty obligations and governance responsibilities. Accompong, as a treaty-recognized indigenous polity under the 1738 treaty, bears the responsibility of in ensuring that the recovery operation within the territorial space are consistent with its laws, governance institutions, and cultural protocols. The Council has therefore determined that internal and partner-supported reconstruction efforts remain the most suitable avenue for the recovery from the damages that were sustained. This decision is not a rejection of cooperation, nor does it diminish the appreciation of the humanitarian intent behind your offer. We again thank you. But rather, it reflects Accompong's capacity to manage its internal recovery efforts through established civilian channels and international collaborative efforts that have been ongoing since the impact of this storm. I again reiterate our commitment to engage in dialogue on areas where meaningful cooperation between the government of Jamaica and the Accompong Maroons can be maintained. We thank everyone for their continued support, particularly in matters related to the disaster readiness and recovery from the effects of Hurricane Melissa. The Maroons continue to show their resilience and share their support with the broader communities impacted by the storm. We respectfully emphasize that this disaster relief cannot be interpreted as altering or diminishing Accompong's treaty-recognized autonomy. The historical and legal foundations of the 1738 treaty remain intact and continue to guide our interactions with the Jamaica state government. Honorable Prime Minister, we again express our sincere gratitude for your visit and your expression of solidarity during this difficult time. We remain committed to peaceful engagement, transparent dialogue, and long-term well-being of all communities within the cockpit country. May this period of national recovery represent an opportunity for renewed mutual respect and for collaborative efforts that honor both Jamaica's constitutional framework and Accompong's treaty-based autonomy. Thank you.
Before we go deep, let's rewind to last week. Remember when Andrew Holness and Babsy Grange suddenly appeared in Accompong Starlink in hand, carrying buckets of water, their first visit since Chief Currie took office? Everybody was asking one question: who sent them? Because for years Accompong was ignored, but suddenly, right after the G20 summit, the Prime Minister rushes into the Maroon territory? Well, according to Chief Currie in his own public video, Ethiopia, Rwanda, and Ghana expressed interest in helping Accompong with rebuilding efforts. So people started connecting the dots and saying, African pressure sent Holness up there. Because if African nations plan to support Accompong directly, then the Jamaican government would not get to manage, control, or touch $1 of that aid. And trust me, that would burn them. So the visit with Starlink and the water buckets start to look like photo ops, evidence, documentation, proof that the government was supposedly involved, just in case African funds begin to flow into Accompong. Commentary-wise, it appears Andrew Holness went up there to position himself, not for cultural respect, but to make sure any incoming support goes through him, not through Chief Currie. That is why this rejection today, it land heavy. Jamaica Chief Currie has spoken loud and clear, and for the first time in a long time, the nation hearing leadership rooted in culture, dignity, and law. Currie explained that Accompong secured international donations, engineering partnerships, and volunteer technical teams years of relationship building through the Accompong Development Foundation. So the question is, why Andrew Holness want to push soldiers into a sovereign indigenous community that already have their rebuilding plan in place? Make it make sense. This is not about help. This looked like control. Currie reminded the government that Accompong's people, especially women, elders, and children, went through deep trauma during and after the hurricane. Why would you send in men with assault rifles when the community is hurting? Why military? Why not civilian engineers? Why not add PEM? Why not train construction teams? What Holness call help can actually trigger fear for people still recovering. Chief Currie stood up and said, "Not here, not now, not like this." And Jamaica respects it. Currie didn't stop there. He reminded the government that Accompong is a treaty-recognized indigenous nation. Under the 1738 peace treaty, they have governance rights over what happens on their land. So Holness cannot just march soldiers into Accompong like it's one of his political constituencies. Currie basically said, respect our laws, respect our protocols, and respect the treaty. Something this administration constantly struggles with respect. Chief Currie also softened the tone professionally. He made it clear this is not hostility, not anti-government, not anti-JDF. He said he appreciates the humanitarian intent, but Accompong already has the capacity, the partners, and the cultural responsibility to handle their own recovery. That is what you call structured, dignified leadership. He ended with a powerful line, "We trust there will be no forceful response to Accompong's decision and that all parties understand the foundational principles of indigenous rights." Translation: do not try bully tactics, we are within our legal rights. And honestly, Jamaica clapping. Chief Currie's response exposes something big. Why is Andrew Holness so eager to send soldiers with rifles into a peaceful Maroon community when so many Jamaicans still waiting for water, food, tarpaulin, mattresses, and proper aid? Is this really about help, or is this about optics and control? Because the diaspora, the churches, private citizens, they are the ones helping the people. But Accompong said, we're organized, we're prepared, and we will rebuild our way. And that is leadership Jamaica needs to study. Big up the whole family. Like, comment, share, and let the truth rise. Michy commentary, the voice for the voiceless.